Hey, what's going on? This is Sean Hayes. Thank you all of our Up Late with Sean Dale fans. I'm sitting here in my home having had a long somber day as we all who wanted our candidate, which was Hillary Clinton, to join office. I've had a long day of reflection and meditation and prayer and just regrouping and rethinking things in my mind about what I need to do going forward. Dealt with you the perspective from the West Coast and her point of view, how she think things went about in terms of this election. And what all of us, for those who really thought this was not going to happen or a complete shock about all of it, everything. And so, like I said, I've had my day of time and reflection and deep thought and thinking about everything and trying to connect with my thoughts. I try to end my night with, with sanity in a cup. Sometimes the liquid libations allow you to have further clarity about what has actually happened. And without prohibition, okay, thank God for whether those Republicans or the Democrats that ushered that in. I had to check my fact books about that. This would just happen recently would not even be bearable for me to handle without liquid libations. But when I do, on a serious note, reflect back to all that has transpired in the last 24 hours, it really made me think about my part and what I played in helping Hillary get elected to office. I know in 2008 when Barack Obama was as a candidate for the office, I was stumping for him. I was out calling people, donating money like crazy. I was, thinking I was a political pundit on my own. And this time around, to be honest, I was a little disenchanted with Hillary, and I think part of that's one of the reasons why she did lose, is because there was a lot of people who did not want Hillary to get in office, but they knew it was important to vote for her, because not voting was a vote for Trump. And as you see, they said 49% of people, maybe I got it back because my face is starting to look too big. 49% of people did not vote at all. Where is the idiocy? And I get there are a lot of people out there that are disenfranchised that, don't believe in the process of the elections. But the fact that you do nothing, and then the idiots, I'm not going to call them idiots, the people who decided to vote for the third party candidate, you might as well had voted for Moo Jenkins when you decided to vote for either Jill Stein or Johnson. Like, why? I just, I think, but I think about also the fact that there were people who overlooked the kind of rhetoric that Donald Trump put out there. This man openly spoke about sexually assaulting women. But then I had to think deeper about why something like that could be allowed. Even in this country today, women who are victimized by sexual abuse often find that there are people around them that they know blame them as the victim, blame them as the reason why that thing happened to them. And oftentimes it's other women who say it was their fault that happened. We celebrate misogyny in our culture, in Black culture, from our music to the way we project objectify women. So now all of a sudden we're shocked that this man said this, and this is why it was such an excused behavior, because we see this in every day. We see this in our own culture. We see this in our own backyards, in our own conversations. And then we think about xenophobia. For those who don't know what that is, okay, get your life. Having a fear of foreigners. You think about ourselves in the barbershop talks, talking about, people losing jobs to these Mexicans. That's not conversation that's exclusive to white people. White people aren't just the ones talking about this. They aren't the ones just saying it. We only look at racism in a microcosm way, thinking if white people are specifically talking about Black people's racism. No, we as Black people have our own, backroom discussions about what this country looks like in terms of this reflection of different and diversity and what that means. Look at yourself before you start pointing the finger at Donald Trump, because he became the loudest in the room with the microphone and he ran for president. We're now all of a sudden attacking what he stated, when often things that he stated regarding women, people of different religions, bases, and different cultures, ethnicities, those are the same conversations and the same things that we have said amongst ourselves. And the only thing is that we're upset about is that the person who said it is now our elected official as president. Am I upset? Am I disgusted? Absolutely. But where's the discussion lie? Where should the accountability of disgust really be? Should it be on the fact that we didn't really do our part? We didn't go out there and stomp for Hillary like we should have. Or here's the other biggest thing. When we saw Donald Trump actually getting the nomination or getting close to winning the nomination, where was people going, abort, abort, abort? Nope. Hillary's not your time. Sorry. Maybe try this in 10 more years when you're a feeble old lady and people might just give it to you just because you ain't going to know no better. But we allowed what we saw happening and kept going because for some reason it had a sense of entitlement for Hillary that it was just her time to do. And as we can see, it's not going to be. Again, there's some women who are not willing and comfortable to allow a woman to lead this country. There's some people who openly will say that, and other women are saying this. They do not want to have another woman leading our country. And we're sitting back, protesting in the streets. I'm sitting watching, MSNBC, or people protesting all across the country. And I hope that everybody that's marching with them are the people who voted or the people who actually made the effort. What are we doing? What accountability are we doing? Today in my media office, my headquarters, we had a discussion, a forum with everyone in terms of having to have formed an outlet about the discussion of what's going on in our country and where do we go from here and how do we become better as a nation. And at the end of the day, what were we doing before this? Why did it take this jolt to make us become actionable people? This has been going on for years. The only difference is that Donald Trump spoke it louder and out loud and said it loud enough where people actually heard him, and it went from a whistle to a scream to a shout to direct communication on how people who are racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, it can become these kind of people and become leaders of our free world, because these are the conversations that have been going on forever. I mean, it's like I'm at the point where you can't keep sitting around complaining or walking and protesting but don't plan an action about what I said this earlier. Today is when you actually realize for yourself, when things go on, there's a term they call flight or fright. What are you going to do? Are you going to be the person who crawls in a corner and decide, oh, well, this government is terrible, this country's terrible, I'm not going to do anything, my vote doesn't count? Or are you going to be the person who stands up and fight against what this has happened? We as Black people often are on the sidelines. We all know in 2008, in 2012, a lot of people voted for Barack Obama because he was Black. We know it. We don't say it outwardly, that just because we didn't worry about the Senate races that were going on around him that would have helped him be able to pass along some of these laws and policies that what he ran on could have actually happened. Because once we saw the Black man get in, we didn't care about nothing else. We didn't care about mobilizing communities to get these elected Senate officials, Republican Senate officials out of office. We didn't care about that. That wasn't important to us. We got a Black man in office. We can make rap songs. My president's Black. My band's Black, or whatever the song is, in order for us to now have a culture of people to have something to talk about versus being a culture about people that's saying that change still has yet come. I'm glad that we have these social media forums. I'm glad that Del and I have Up Late and Shaw Hayes. I hope we have other forums on, and that brings me to my other thought, about the fact that on mainstream media, there is no one who looks like Della now. There's no one that's doing this on a platform that women voices are being heard so that we can be taken seriously. Where's the channels where you could turn on the show and see people like ourselves? Not ourselves, because the View and the Talk, those are a representation of an older generation, because all the women that are on that thing could be my mother, could be my mom. So they're not representing my voice specifically in regards to my age group, and then millennials, where that's not being represented. So of course, why would we ever think a woman could be president now when nobody took in consideration about the fact that we are living in an era where we're still having a discussion about equal pay for women? We're trying to elect a woman when we're still President Obama is just signing legislation that we're still talking about in terms of getting equal pay for women. Like, we are not brains as a party, and I'm associated with the Democrat Party. Did we think that this was the time to push her ahead? When again we still are talking about why women are making less money on the dollar towards men. Why? I go back to my original statement. Thank you for liquid libations. This is a cup I got for my birthday. It's called it actually says a meal without wine. It's called breakfast. Shout out to Asia. Yeah, we know. I've been so stressed out. First of all, my hair, I cut my own bangs. So this is just like, they was talking about how, she love her hair. And at that point in that time when your weave is starting to like leave you, because it's like where your hairline and your weave is right here, and then it's like back here. So it's like pushed all the way back. So that's why I end up having to cut a bang, because it's like, yeah, this is no longer looking cute. So where I don't need a new good weave, I need somebody to be able to grab these roots and hold this all together so I can put it back together. So these are the concerns I got going on. Better, and if we're gonna now have Donald Trump in office, who his entire business is about importing and exporting overseas products, can we get better products of hair weaves? In beauty supply stores. Now they got all these hair imports and Elite Virgins and all these places you can get hair weaves. But I need to go to my corner beauty supply store and get quality hair weave. Donald, if you're going to do anything within your first 100 days, can hair weave and quality hair weave be a part of your platform? I mean, your 100 days things you're going to do? Because right now, it's a shame I got to go online or got to finance weave in order for me to be able to look presentable, because what's happening underneath here is not the best thing ever. But I digress. Again, I just hope together as a country we have allowed today, which I heard earlier today when somebody reported we've been 2 days in American history. I mean, I would beg to differ. It's probably more than just those 2 days, but 9/11 and 11/9. But we have to now, again, be the change we want to see in the world. I know as cliche as it may sound, we have to be the people who are going to ignite, who's going to be fired up and ready to go. We can't let that only be something we characterize within an election of one black president and we stop being fired up, because we often need a leader who's going to tell us when we should act. We should act on the fact that there's black men being shot down in the streets. We should act on the fact that mass incarceration has still been happening, and the fact that people are still being imprisoned more times than that of their white counterparts. There's so many other things that we should be alarmed by, that newly elect President Trump should not have been the motivation that we needed to ignite us to push towards progressive change. We can't change the mind states about those people who don't like the way you look or how you pray or who you pray to or who you love. We can never change that about how people feel about it. But we can do collectively is come together and for the greater good make this country better. But, it's a sad time that we had to come to you as Upland Show, but the show itself is about being able to connect and touch with people who want to have a voice and a platform. And the great thing is that social media has been able to provide that for us. But again, until we get faces like this and Dell and I on mainstream to allow the conversations to constantly happen, so we actually asking these questions: how did white supremacy win this election in 2016? Cosmopolitan did an amazing write-up, and I forget the young sister's name who wrote the article, did an amazing write-up about what this election meant to racism and white supremacy. And I would encourage you all to read it. I'll try to post it on my link. But just, can you continue the conversation? Now, let's not let 2 weeks go by and we worrying about the who Kim Kardashian clothes she wearing or what her children. Those are the minuscule things that are allowing us to keep our brains away from the things that are important. We shouldn't be that involved in reality shows, but less involved in our political process. So I ranted much longer than I thought I would, but when you are impassioned by something that really impacts you, impacts your child, being a mother now, that this whole process has completely changed the way that I should have approached this, because in my mind, thinking that, oh, Hilary had this in a bag and not really thinking about what I could have done by calling and stumping and calling people and making sure that they were aware of what negative thoughts they had in mind about not voting, because it really does just take, people didn't vote because of the stuff that they heard. People